Hey, man. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It's been a while since I've had you on, and I think it's been almost like close to a year or so. But it seems like we're in the same exact place. I'm getting deja vu because last time I had you on, you were in a car too. I think your husband was driving.
Yes, we're always on the go, it seems like.
So, I mean, first, I want to tell you also in person, congratulations on your, big win, and it was a really big deal.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been definitely a whirlwind, and we're very excited for the Olympia.
Yeah. So I wanted to have you on to talk about that and then just kind of your your thinking and mindset for the Olympia. So first of all, can you tell me like how it came about that you were doing the show? Did you plan on it? Like did it just come sporadically? Were you already in shape?
So we have actually been competing all year.
Mhm.
Um, and, initially at the beginning of the year, we were going for my pro card. So we competed in, I believe it was April, May, and July for my
Mhm.
pro card. And then we got my pro card in at the USA's. So then we decided to go ahead and just start hitting pro shows because our goal was always to get to the Olympia.
Mhm.
So we just were already in shape. The feedback from the judges was really good. They said, you can be competitive in a pro show. So we immediately turned around, and the next month we hit the Texas Pro, which was in August, and got third. And then the next month we did the Heart of Texas and got second. So we know, I mean, we knew we were just right there. And we were already in shape. So we were like, let's just keep going, hit Legion. And that's when we did it.
How many tries did it take for you to get the pro card? Or did you look right off the beginning you kind of got it?
Well, actually, no. So well, I qualified back in 2021 at the Dallas Europa. Um, and then I did Team Universe in July 2021, Masters Nationals. I think that was in August or September 2021. Then we did Nationals in December 2021. So we did three national shows in 2021. And then we did one, two, three. So six tries to get my pro
Hmm.
card.
So I'm the reason I asked that is I almost wonder if it was better to get the pro card a little bit later after a few shows. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you'll have people turn pro really early because they just happen to hit the right show, right? And their lineup is favorable for them, but they're not really ready to compete with the pros yet. So they have to take like a longer gap to catch for their body to catch up so then they can, compete with the pros. But it sounds like what you're telling me and what the judges have been telling you is that as soon as you turn pro, you were already like in the condition, in the shape that you were ready to compete with the pros. And I think that's a huge benefit to you.
Yes, and my husband and I were actually just talking about that. Um, as frustrated as we got sometimes, it was actually, like you said, kind of to our benefit. It taught us a lot. Um, it gave me a lot of stage experience. So that way when I walked out on the pro stage for the first time, I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I was so pumped and excited. Um, I had that confidence, that experience. And like you said, some girls, not to their fault, but they go out and they get it, and then they don't have that experience quite yet.
Mhm.
Um, and their posing still needs work, or they still need a little bit of development. But I
Mhm.
really think that it helped us, and I'm thankful that it happened the way that it did.
Yeah. So won the which pro show? Legions?
Legion, Sports
Okay.
Fest.
And so prior to that, what were you placing like prior to winning that show? At the pro shows, I'm saying.
It was the first pro show I did, Texas Pro. I got third.
Hmm.
Um, I think there were 12 girls in that show, And then the Heart of Texas, like 3 or 4 weeks later, I think there was also 12 girls, and I got second. So we were just moving up
Yeah,
place.
so you were very competitive right out the get-go, top 5 immediately, and then just progressing to winning a show.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And the judges each time, they didn't say that I had major things to work on. It was minor, like tweak my posing or work on ab control, but just minor things, nothing that would take a year of work or anything like that.
Right, right. Something that you could change between shows that could get you that win, which it obviously did. So,
Yes, yeah.
and so when they said tweak your posing or something like that, was there a lack in like posing, or what then they didn't like about your posing or wanted you to improve, I should say?
Um, well, for example, I think the first pro show that I did, my individual, um, I think I rushed it just a little bit, and I think one of the judges had told me that just because I was so used to going out and doing just a very short routine. And in the pros you get about a minute or a little bit longer.
Mhm.
And so I think I just kind of blacked out when I went out there. and and they told me, just slow down, they're not going to rush you off stage, kind of like they do sometimes in the national shows. But and so by the next show I had it down. They said just work on my front pose just a little bit.
Mhm.
So I did that. And by this show, I got a little feedback on my side pose after the show. And so that's what we've been working on.
Mhm.
Um, otherwise, there's always something to improve on.
Right. It's almost like you can't like walk out like without having something, like you said, to improve on, or something said where, I mean, I guess that's a good thing, right? Because it allows you to kind of progress forward. Otherwise, you wouldn't really know, where you're lacking.
Right. And then, if you sit around and think, well, I don't have anything to work on, you're not going to work hard. So
Yeah, sure.
got to need to push towards and have a goal for it and work on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's amazing. That's a quick, because I remember like, so, I obviously like we follow each other, and I keep up with your competitions and so forth. And I'll look at your posts, and I see you're like regularly competing, and I'm like, well, you're in great shape. I'm wondering like when this is going to take off. And it's like, I saw that post that, and then everything just kind of took off for like, and you progressively started like doing better and winning, and now you're going to Olympia. So it seems like you're really like hitting your stride now, with you like getting minor things to work on. Is like, what are you working on for the Olympia? Is it anything like, is it still just the minor stuff, or do you have something like more major to improve?
Well, so we've pretty much got everything on point as far as like my diet, the loading, peak week, all of that. We're constantly working on posing. Um, it's just because I noticed in the beginning, I would only work on it a week or something, but if you don't do it constantly, it's something that you can just completely forget, in
Yeah.
my opinion. So I'm constantly working on that. I'm doing some guest posing next weekend for a show here in Oklahoma.
No,
Um,
nice.
yeah, with a couple other people that are doing the Olympia.
Mhm.
Um, so we've been working on that routine. And then just mainly growing the glutes is something else that we're working on, growing the quads. And because that's, just refining them, and that's just the constant thing that we're working on.
Yeah. So the Olympia is what, December, right?
I think it's the 17th as wellness is.
Okay. And so how are you? So we're in October now. And you won the pro show just recently. Are you gonna like unpeak and like go backwards a little bit and then repeak again? Are you completely going off and just starting a whole new prep? Like, how are you doing this?
So after the show, I always take about 3 or 4 days just to
Mhm.
completely um, just rest my body. I might do a little bit of cardio, but I take off from the gym just to rest.
Mhm.
Eat up. I say my husband says don't over it, but I get to eat a little bit.
Um,
And I reversed just a little bit because we had about 9.5 weeks right after the show.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, we, weren't as strict on diet. We added in a few things, that we always do at the beginning of prep. And now we're just kind of on cruise control. And then we're gonna, kick it back in about a week and start coming back down towards the peak.
Got it. Got it. Well, I mean, that's really exciting. Your first Olympia, you're getting, do you have anything like special that you're going to do for this Olympia? Or you got anything in mind?
Well, we're gonna win it.
Are you,
This is, and it's when we started. My first show was the Arnold Amateur, and it was funny because everyone said, "Why did you start on such a big stage?"
mhm,
My husband always said, "Well, you've got to think big. You've
mhm.
got to have big goals." And so that's what we've always done. Is
Yeah.
just go big. People have always said, "Why don't you take a break in between these shows?" And I always just think I don't have time to take a break. You
Mhm,
know, I I mean, I'm 38, so
mhm.
you know what, this is my prime time for competing. Um, I'm in good health right now. My body feels good, and I think it's a great time to just keep going, keep pushing, and we've really, I think, done a lot of great things together, and I think we can do a lot more.
Yeah. I mean that's a great point of view to have for sure. I mean, you definitely don't want to like detract from yourself, if you can go bigger, why not, right? But I did want to ask you so we talked about it a little bit last time we were on the podcast together about that you started a little bit later compared to like some of the other people. And do you think that kind of like because of that, like since you don't have as much wear and tear maybe on your body, that you're able to like compete, more regularly?
Probably just because lifting heavy does take a toll on your body, and just so since I don't have that for a number of years, like you said, I do feel like it's kind of a benefit for me. I was a marathon runner, but again, it was a different kind of wear and
Sure.
tear. Um, but yeah, I like you said, I feel really good. My joints feel good. Um, so we don't see any reason to slow down right now.
Yeah, yeah. How do you and I know you said, you're gonna win it, and of course that's a great mindset to have. How do you think you compare with some of the one top, wellness competitors, at least from last year, right? Like, I mean, that was the first year that we had it. So there's definitely a lot of room for girls to be switched around, right? We're still kind of developing like what the criteria is gonna be. So and the reason I say this is because I remember a while back, and I can't remember what show. I don't think you placed as high as you expected and as your husband expected, but he put a picture up of you and Fran, who won the Olympia, and it's like you guys were very like close. You weren't that far off from, if anything, from her. So like, how do you feel you stack up with some of the girls?
Um, and I'm not trying to take away from anybody, but as far as symmetry goes, her and I have very similar symmetry. Um, I'm trying to answer this in the best way possible. I
You're trying to be politically correct.
Politically correct, yes, because I think there are some amazing
Mhm,
competitors, that I've been following since this started. It's going to be a tough show,
mhm.
but I think we have a really good chance.
Yeah.
And that's the question.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a good answer for it. And yeah, and I don't ask these questions to try to instigate anything, but I do want to know how, like, where you think you stack up, especially since it's your first Olympia.
Yeah, we're very confident going into it.
Mhm,
People keep asking me, "Are you nervous about going into the show or
mhm,
being on biggest stage?" And my answer is no. I'm not nervous. I feel really good. I've been on a lot of stages, a lot of big shows. I've had a lot of stage time, and no, I'm not nervous at all. And actually, I've been in a show with Fran and Issa and Lolly and all of those girls. They were at the Arnold.
Hmm.
And so I've competed against these girls before. So no, I don't necessarily get nervous. I get excited. So I think that helps too. A lot of girls, they tend to get nervous, being on such a big stage, but I think it helps that, just the stage time and the experience.
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, and especially with you competing back to back so many times, I'm sure like that develops your confidence. You're, kind of going into the Olympia and everything like that, as opposed to somebody who's competed once, like, and
Yes.
then qualified and then didn't compete again, and now they're going to Olympia. So that gap kind of causes sometimes anxiety. So,
Yeah.
so what do you think about the way like the wellness division is going? I know again, I prefaced this question by saying that we are just one Olympia in. We're about to have another one, so there's plenty of opportunity for changing things up. But a lot of a lot of what I see and for what some of the girls are talking about is really there's two types of wellness competitors. There's ones that are more like a stronger version of like a bikini shape, which I would say like maybe like Fran or somebody like that, who's just a more pleasant aesthetic shape. And then there's girls that are just like really muscular, almost like bodybuilder type of legs, going into the Olympia. Like, what do you think, or in the wellness division, I should say, what do you think the best route to take? Like, what do you prefer to see in the wellness or the way wellness should go?
In my opinion, I think kind of the way that it was and started out and was described was more so like what build is, more of like a am I trying to say like a bigger bikini
Hmm.
um, competitor. Um, because as far as I've seen some girls that are doing, getting bigger like a bodybuilder, like you
Hmm.
said, and I don't necessarily think it's going to go that direction. I think the judges are still, and I think they have awarded some girls like that, but I think as far as on the Olympia level, I think they're still going to stick to what it has been.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's probably the look that they should go for, right? Because it can really get out of hand if you start rewarding, the other type of look, the more uh, bodybuilder type of look on a bigger stage like the Olympia. That's when you get like a lot of shuffle. Girls don't know what to look like. That's kind of the problem.
And then their femininity, and that's a big part of this division
Mhm.
is staying feminine and having that look, that aesthetically pleasing look. It's kind of the whole package.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, I do understand like where you're saying that some of those girls won shows like more like regional or maybe like more local shows, and that can happen if there's nobody else better than them on the stage, right? But in the Olympia, you hope that's not the case, right?
Yes, and I think, like you said, mainly like at the regional level, but when it gets to the national or the Olympia, I see them really sticking to what, like last year at the Olympia,
Sure.
um, kind of that theme.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So you kind of agree like with the placings of last year, I would assume then at that point.
Yes, yeah, because I think that's, kind of what they described what the division would be like.
Mhm.
And I think really holding true to that.
Yeah. Do you as far as like your conditioning is concerned, are you planning to bring like the same level of conditioning? Are you trying to get, leaner, like more striations or anything like that? Or you liked where you were when you won the Legions and you just want to kind of bring that package?
We're going to try to be a little more conditioned. I think I was telling somebody and I probably shouldn't say this. I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm going on record here and saying it. And Scott would tell you this too. I'm not a huge fan of fast cardio,
Mhm.
but before Legions, and I was always doing twice a day cardio, but
Mhm.
not fast. So before Legions, he made me do fasted cardio, and it really helped, of
Yeah.
course.
So you're a fan now, I guess, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a fan of the results of it. So as long as I have my coffee. And so we're gonna start that again because it really works for my body.
Hmm.
Um, and we're gonna start it farther out this time and bring some more conditioning. Um, not to where we're just completely striated like
Hmm.
or anything, but just bring in a little more conditioning, a little tighter, um, and just a better overall package.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, it's funny that you say that about the fasted cardio because it's so there's like some information out there, as I'm sure as well you well know that there's like both sides. Like some people say it helps, some people say it doesn't. But I will say from my personal experience, I don't know what it is. But when I do fasted cardio on a regular basis, I get leaner much faster. And so I mean the results are, in the
Speak for
pudding.
themselves.
Yeah,
That too
exact.
pop up. People say, "Oh, it doesn't work," but until you really do it for yourself, like you said, it works wonders. For me and for
Yeah,
you. And
yeah, for sure. So you go to the Olympia. You do what you need to do there. Let's like kind of take the Olympia out of the equation. Like obviously, if you win, I would assume you would probably just shut everything down, right, until the next one. But it's if we take that out of the equation, what are your plans? If you have to requalify, are you gonna? I don't even know if there's a show that immediately after the Olympia or not, but or are you gonna like just kind of wait and kind of later on take a real off season and go from there?
we're not really sure yet.
Mhm.
We've already talked to JM about. He got me to agree to do the Pittsburgh Pro, so we're doing that
Oh,
one.
nice.
I can't remember if that's in April or May. I know it's in the spring, so we'll be doing that
Mhm.
one. And if anyone's watching this, if I happen to get invited to the Arnold, I couldn't turn that down, of course. But
Of course, yeah.
but right now, the first one we plan on doing in the spring is the Pittsburgh Pro.
Pittsburgh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the reason I ask is that some competitors like to catch a really early show, and I don't know, Pittsburgh might be one of the more earlier ones. Because they can qualify really quick, and then they don't have to like worry about it.
right. Instead of waiting until, and that's kind of what we ran into this time. Is since I didn't get my pro card until July,
Hmm.
uh, we were trying to hit almost every one of them so we could qualify for the Olympia.
Sure.
And it was just one right after the other, and but we weren't going to stop until we qualified. So that was our goal.
Yeah, yeah. No, you definitely pushed it and you got the results that you wanted. And I'm sure you're gonna get the results that you want in the Olympia as well. Are you are you avid do you watch the other divisions? Do you keep up with them or just mainly wellness?
I watch some of the other divisions. I
Hmm.
do figure a lot because that's kind of what I started out watching.
Hmm.
Got into bodybuilding, and this was before wellness had even come over here. So I love figure. I like physique,
Hmm.
um, but of course my husband keeps me updated on all the men's divisions.
Of
But
course.
I'd have to say I do follow figure probably closer than anything else because I think it's a great division.
I don't know if you've heard, now that you brought that up, I don't know if you've heard, but the Arnold is removing figure from the next Arnold. Have you like had any thoughts about that? Do you have an opinion on that?
I did hear that. It's I don't know. I'm kind of sad that that's the case, just because I don't know. I always enjoyed and Arnold being a bodybuilder, you would think that he would be an enthusiast of all divisions, especially figure, for
Right.
example. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure why he did it. He must have had a good reason, but
Sure.
yeah, it kind of it saddens me because I always enjoyed watching it at the
Yeah,
Arnold.
Yeah, it's hard like to give a definitive statement because you don't know like what's, what their thinking was on the matter, whether it was like a financial issue or like what's going on. But it's just that figure is such a staple to the women's, to the women's divisions, I guess you could say, to women's bodybuilding, that like it's weird to have a show without figure, and then, even though I do think that like the bikini and wellness are kind of are at the height of their popularity. Figure is kind of like one of those staple divisions. It's kind of like men's bodybuilding. It's like for a while men's bodybuilding wasn't that popular because it just kind of lost its luster. Now I think it's back, but then like you have men's classic physique that was really popular, but they never took away men's bodybuilding because it's like a staple, right? So I feel like that's kind of what's going on with figure. It's like it's a staple, but for some reason they're taking it away, and it kind of feels weird, you know?
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Like you said, it does feel like a staple, and I would be curious to know why, but again, they didn't ask my opinion, so
maybe
darn it.
one maybe one day they will.
But yeah, maybe they will, and then we can put it to a vote. So
Right. Maybe if you go to the Arnold, you win wellness and you become the Arnold champ. And then you can, when you talk to Arnold on stage, you could like advocate for figure.
exactly, I will, and I'll put you there too. I'll say I have a good friend that agrees on with me
Yeah,
on
there you
this.
go. There you go. Have Arnold call me. I'm sure that'll be the first thing that he does.
Yes,
So do you have just kind of off topic a little bit about bodybuilding? Do you have any like vacations planned after the Olympia? Like some people like to take like a long vacation or just kind of end the season that way.
we thought about, or we've discussed right after the Olympia hitting Disneyland, just because we like it so much. It's one of our favorite places. So we thought about heading over there for a few days to just, hang out, maybe go to Gold's Gym, Venice,
Uh-huh.
and work. We did that a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
and really fun trip. So we
that's
might do
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Also, Amanda, I wanted to ask you, do you do, obviously your mind is set is in the competitive field right now. Do you do anything else that you want to plug? Do you train? Do you coach? Anything like that?
we do. So my husband and I, we do online or in person, but online training, diet plans, posing. We do it all online.
Okay.
So we just tell people they can get a hold of us through our Instagram, send us a message through there. But yeah, we've picked up a lot of people that way. And we've got a really good client base, but we do it all, through video or email, text, all of that.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'll tag everything at the bottom of this video to make it easier for you to get in touch with Amanda and her husband. So,
Great.
well, Amanda, thank you so much for your time. Like I said, I just want to catch up with you because after your big win, and now, like your goals are coming true. But I know it's not over yet. You still got one more goal left this year. So, I'm wishing you well.
Thank you so much. It was great being on here.
All
I
right,
appreciate it.
take care. Have a good day.